What's up, you guys? It's Brantzen, and this is my first meetup game at the Hustler. Let's go! I'm so excited. We're playing 2-3 today. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully I don't give out too much money, so hit that intro. Cheers.
With the guy Brantzen, who has the Brantzen poker logs.
No! Let's go! Let's go!
Tell him he's got a lot of class, and it's all low.
Let's jump right in. I buy in for $500, and the first hand I get into is Ace Jack of Hearts in the Lojack. The under the gun opens to $15. I have a strong hand. I debate on 3-betting or calling, but the under the gun range should be very strong himself, so I just make the call. Heads up to a flop of King 7-5 with 2 hearts, and the under the gun bets $15. Again, I'm in the situation where I can raise or call, but this flop is better for his range, so I just call. Turn is the 7 of spades, bringing in a second flush draw and pairing the board. He slows down and checks now, and I think on a double flush board, he's going to continue betting with his strong kings a good chunk of the time, so now I'm thinking he could be checking with a pocket pair like 8s through queens. I'm going to put pressure on those hands. I bet $50, but he makes the call. The river is an ace, and now he decides to take the lead again, but he bets a bit small, $65.
Oh man, am I about to get wrecked by ace king here? I call. Quads? Quads? Quads?
Let's go, Brantzen money!
Moving on from that, I pick up 8-9 of clubs in the hijack. The Lojack opens to $15, and I decide to spice it up with the 3-bet to $45. The small blind cold calls, the Lojack calls. We're going 3 ways to a flop of King 9 Jack, all diamonds. My opponents check to me. I really don't think betting is good here. I doubt I'll get them both to fold. So I check, and the turn is a 6. My opponents both check again. Okay. Maybe neither of them have a strong hand, but I still am just going to check. Hopefully checks on the river and pray my 9 somehow wins at showdown. Until the river comes another 9. Nice, I have trips. Now the small blind leads for $60, and in my head I'm thinking easy call, but then the Lojack raises to $180. Oh boy. So first of all, I don't think either one of these players should have a boat. I don't think it would have gone check, check, check on the flop, check, check, check on the turn if somebody had 2 pair or a set. So what's the Lojack raising with? Slow played ace high flush? Slow played straight flush? Or maybe he senses everyone is weak because flop and turn checked and now could be making a bluff play. I am curious, and it's my meetup game. I'm here to give action. I call, the small blind quickly folds, and the Lojack shows ace 5 of diamonds, so not starting off great here. New table, new luck, let's go. I pick up pocket 10s in the hijack. There's a straddle to $6, then the under the gun opens to $12. Then the Lojack 3-bets to $25. All right, so what now? I debate raising or calling, but I decide on a call, maybe set mine against multiple opponents who will probably call the $25. But then the button 4-bets to $115. Folds back to the Lojack. He goes all in for $119, and it's on me. I don't know, it's a weird hand with weird raises. Because of the small raise sizes and me just flat calling, the button should have a wider 4-betting range. I get the sense the Lojack isn't too strong here. He didn't seem thrilled to get it in. 10s is a decently strong hand, and because the Lojack is already all in, the button and I will be competing for a side pot of $0. No matter what, one of us will have to beat the Lojack to win the pot, and there's currently no money on the side, so it makes it much less likely the button is going to bluff me off this pot. He should be playing his hand pretty face up from here on, so I call, the button calls the extra $4, and we're off to a flop of ace 7-3 rainbow. I check, the button bets $100, and like I said, with no side pot, I doubt he's bluffing. He probably has ace king or ace queen here. I fold, the button has ace king, the Lojack has pocket 8s, and the button wins the pot. Can I win a freaking pot here? I pick up pocket 7s in the Lojack. There's a straddle, so I open to $20. Just the straddle calls, we're heads up to a flop of king 5-4 with 2 clubs. This flop is good for my range, so when my opponent checks, I make a small c-bet of $15. He calls, we're off to a turn, which comes another king. He checks, the second king is good, making it less likely he has a king, so I decide to throw out another small bet of $25. I'm trying to target any 4 or 5 that he has, or maybe a flush draw as well. He calls, and the river is an offsuit jack. He checks, and it would be extremely thin to go for more value here, so I just check back. He shows a 5, and I win the pot. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. Okay, I sit back down and get ace-7 of diamonds on the button. There's a straddle, and the hijack opens to $12. I don't know what to do about these min-raise sizings. Do I call? Do I fold? Do I raise? Okay, I raise to $35. The big blind cold calls, and the hijack calls as well. 3 ways to a flop of queen 7 deuce rainbow. Action checks to me. Multi-way with mid-pair, I just check back. I think either player could have a decently strong queen, and I want to see if I hit an ace, 7, or diamond on the turn. The turn is the 8 of clubs, bringing in a flush draw, and now the big blind bets $45. I might have to call one time in position, but then the hijack calls, so I think it's a pretty easy fold for me, and the river comes another 7. Great. The big blind then goes all in, the hijack folds, and the big blind shows pocket queens. So thank goodness I didn't see that river, because it could have been really, really bad for me. All right, time for a table change.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello.
I sit down and pick up pocket aces in the Lojack. Here we go. The under the gun +1 limps, so I raise to $20. And then my friend Mikey 3-bets to $60 from the button. It folds back to me. I am torn. Mikey drove up from San Diego to support me. In fact, I was talking with him in the car on his drive up. But at the same time, I'm here to play poker. I 4-bet to $150. Part of me is just hoping he folds, but he asks me how much I have behind. I push my stack forward. I'm thinking about telling him to just fold, but he quickly says,
No, Mikey, why are you doing this to... I'm sorry. Kings. How many times do you want to run it?
You want to run it twice?
You can run it twice, we can run it 3 times, whatever you want.
Let's do it twice.
Twice, okay. I'm sorry, Mikey, that's the worst spot. Oh no. He's my good friend.
King on the river. Ooh.
Alright, king on the next board. Twice. If no king here, then 3 times.
I'll take 2 runner clubs. Come on.
Okay, club. Okay, one more. Last one. Come on, there's only so many kings. My king. No. Nice.
You guys don't have to worry about Mikey too much. He still won $750 on the day. But back to my hands, I pick up 4-5 of spades in the hijack, and the Lojack min raises to $6. I can't just call this. I guess I 3-bet. I make it $20, and the cutoff, button, and Lojack call. Flop comes out deuce 4-8 with 2 diamonds. Action checks to me. I honestly might have the best hand here, and I can rep all the overpairs. I bet $30, and only the cutoff calls. Turn is the 7 of hearts, bringing in a second flush draw, and now I have a decision. I can just give up, or I can bet big, putting a lot of pressure on flush draws and single pair holdings. I decide on the latter. I bet $110. I also picked up a gut shot for a little extra equity in case he calls, but he does not call. He goes all in for $340. My hand's just too weak to call, but I'm really curious what he has that makes sense here. Maybe a slow played set. I ask him if he has pocket 8s. I fold, and later he told me he had pocket 7s, so that actually makes a lot of sense. Man, the theme of the day is my opponents just have the nuts against me all the time. Moving on to Queen King of Clubs in the small blind, the button opens to $15, and I have a slam dunk 3-bet to $60. The button calls, we're heads up to a flop of King Jack 9 with 2 hearts. I flop top pair, good kicker, gut shot. I bet $65, but then my opponent raises to $200. When he calls my 3-bet pre-flop and raises me on this flop, I think he's going to have a lot of strong hands. 2 pair hands, a couple sets, definitely some flopped straights. My hand's pretty, but not that pretty. I throw in the towel, and my opponent chose Queen 10 of hearts for the super mega nuts. He flopped the nut straight, also had the flush draw, also had the open-ended straight flush draw. Just ridiculous. I don't know. New table, now I pick up Queen 9 of spades on the button. There's a straddle, the cutoff opens to $20, and I decide to just flat call on the button with a playable hand. The small blind calls as well, and we're 3 ways to a flop of deuce 3-7, all spades. Holy cow, that's what I'm talking about. I flop the flush. Action checks to me, and I have to start putting money in. I bet $30. The small blind then jams for $200. The cutoff folds. I make the easy call. I ask him if he'd like to run it twice. He says yes. Top board comes a 5 and a 9. Bottom comes a deuce and a queen. He flips over pocket 3s for a flopped set. He improved to a boat on the second run out, and we chop the pot. An orbit later, I pick up pocket kings on the button. Let's go. The cutoff opens to $20. I'm putting in that 3-bet. I make it $60, and the cutoff calls. Heads up to a flop of king 9-7 with 2 clubs. I flop top set. The cutoff checks, and I put out a small c-bet of $40. He makes the call, and the turn is the 5 of clubs. The cutoff checks, and this sucks. I heavily block top pair, so it weights him more towards flush draws, which means he has the flush now. Getting raised here would be a disaster, so I just check back to evaluate a river, and the river comes the ace of clubs. Great. 4 clubs on board, and my opponent leads out for $120. Nice hand, I fold. And now my opponent shows Jack 10 of spades for the bluff. Okay, I'm just getting owned here. What is happening? Where's Ashton? On today's episode of Punked, I pick up Ace Jack of spades on the big blind. There's a straddled $6, the cutoff limps, the small blind limps. I ain't limping, I raise to $35. The straddle is my only customer. We're heads up to a flop of 4-4-7 rainbow. $35 is a decent amount to call preflop in a 2-3 game, even with a straddle. I don't expect him to have a 4 or a 7 that often. I decide to start with a c-bet of $25. He makes the call, and the turn comes the 7 of spades, double pairing the board and giving me a flush draw. I feel like my opponent could have pocket pairs like 5s, 6s, pocket 8s. He could have also floated the flop with a couple Broadway cards. I'd like to get those hands to fold, so I make another bet, this time for $60. I figure I can't go too big here, as I don't really have any 4s or 7s myself either, so with my large pocket pairs, I'd probably be taking this sizing as well. He makes the call again. I'm just hoping for a spade, ace, or jack. I feel like I'll be good on any of those cards, but the river is the 9 of clubs. I give up now. I check, and now he bets $150. I think I'm no good unless he just called the flop with air and then called the turn with air. I don't know. I fold, and he shows air. Queen 10 off. Okay, and that's it for the meetup game, folks.
All right, so that is it. I was in the game for $1,200 and out for $571 for a loss of $629. They got me at my own meetup game, but I stole the poster, so it's a win in my heart, and I got to give money to you guys. So thanks for coming out, and I'll see you in the next one.